The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Aging Horizon. I'm your host, Wilmot Collins. Today, as our guest, we have Tessa Bailey. Tessa is the Nutrition Program Manager for the Department of Health and Human Services. Today, she'll be talking about congregate meals and home deliveries. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
I have so many questions about power of attorney.
Well, some powers of attorney are for finances and others are for healthcare decisions.
A power of attorney designates an agent who would make decisions on your behalf.
While making a power of attorney, you have the ability to control your agent's power.
You also have the ability to decide when that POA would take effect.
Wait, am I giving away all my rights?
Power of attorney isn't a license to make any decision for you, just those that you've specified.
Your agent should be somebody that's working in your best interest, but it should also be somebody that you would trust.
What if they try to abuse their power?
Protective measures like third-party accounting, secondary signatures, defined spending and gifting limits can help protect against financial exploitation. An agent's powers can always be limited by a customized power of attorney, and they can be revoked by you or the court if the power of attorney is abused.
So carefully drafted estate planning documents can help ensure that your finances are monitored, but not abused.
If you or someone you know is being exploited, please report to Aging Services Bureau at 844-277-9300 or the Legal Service Developer at 1-800-332-2272. This message sponsored by the DPHHS Aging Service Bureau.
Medicare loses $60 million in Montana each year, $70 billion nationally. Medicare processes 4.5 million claims a day. They don't know who your doctor is, but you do. Mistakes can happen.
Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected.
1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
We're back, and this is the Aging Horizon program brought to you by the Montana Department of Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Wilmot Collins, and today our guest is Tessa Bailey. Tessa will be discussing with us congregate meals and home deliveries. Tessa, welcome to the program Aging Horizon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us about your role as the Nutrition Program Manager.
Sure. I oversee the nutrition programs for the Older Americans Act under the Department of Public Health and Human Services in the Senior and Long-Term Care Division. So anything of the congregate and home delivered meal. I'm also a registered dietitian, and I also oversee the evidence-based health promotion programs as well.
Great. So how is this program funded? What's the funding structure?
Sure. So the state receives federal funding under the Older Americans Act, which was a federal act that was brought to us back in the 1960s. And so that they deliver to each funding to all the states. And then we deliver, it is our job as the state to then do a policy development, program administration of all the funds and the requirements under the act. And then we distribute funds to 9 area agencies on aging, which are called AAAs, as our lingo for that. And they're responsible for doing program development in their service areas. So we have 9 around the state that cover the whole state, and so they all have different service areas for that. And then they contract with local providers, a lot of times senior centers or different types of providers, and then they provide the Older Americans Act services, such as the congregate meals, home delivered meals, evidence-based programs, caregiver programs, and so they then contract and provide all those programs throughout the state.
So what happens if I have allergies that some food I can't eat, some food I can't eat? How is that done with the home delivery meals?
Sure. So each of the core nutrition programs, Congregate and Home Delivered, and so they have to meet each of the menus. So usually they're offering a meal a day of 5 days a week. And they have to meet the dietary reference intakes. Each meal has to meet 1/3 of that, which are provided by the dietary guidelines for Americans. But each menu is approved by a registered dietitian for the service areas, a lot of times me. I act as the registered dietitian for the state for these programs. And then also we have a lot of, if there is dietary restrictions, those people work with their local meal sites to help them, and they can provide alternatives for their different needs.
So what would be the eligibility requirement? What is it I need to do to get on board to be able to have meals delivered to me at home, and
Sure. And so it's not, this service is under the Older Americans Act.
Right.
So it's not there to provide services to anybody. So ultimately it's for people 60 and older. So if you're 60 and older, you automatically qualify. Income is not, we don't look at income, we don't look at anything like that. And so it's really just age and over. We do try to have our sites go off the most social and economic need. So if they see people in more need, they try to use the funding for those people first before others, but we really, there is no income requirement. But also spouses that are of any age of the person that is 60 and older, also people with disabilities that live with a person 60 and older, or in certain housing facilities that provide congregate meals if the population is mostly 60 and over. Not nursing homes, nothing like that, because those services have to require meals, and those people pay for those meals as part of their living requirements there. But anybody 60 and older qualifies for our Older Americans Act services.
Good. So I keep hearing we're more than food.
Yes.
What else?
Sure. So especially with the nutrition programs, the Congregate and Home Delivered, it is a place, really what they are asking the feds and how this was set up was to reduce hunger, reduce food insecurity for our older adult population, and reduce malnutrition as well. Promoting socialization is one of the big key factors with these programs, with all of our programs. It does prove that having socialization as we age is an integral part of decreasing loneliness, anxiety, depression, and it brings a sense of belonging that if some people are living alone, they are then coming into these settings.
So I hear it's a powerful tool against isolation. How do you work with that?
Sure. So yes, these programs, congregate meals, obviously you're coming in a congregate setting, so you're amongst friends and community members, and home delivered meals, you're seeing somebody because they're delivering every day. So those are very powerful tools in combating loneliness and depression in our older adults.
Wow. So I see you talk about evidence-based program. Would you just give us a quick synopsis of what it is? Very quick synopsis.
Sure. So our evidence-based programs are anything they're health promotion, and so those are programs that we are working to promote well-being and decrease the amount of injury and disabilities in older adults so they can live in their homes longer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tessa. We've been talking to Tessa Bailey of the Montana Department of Health and Human Services. She's the program manager, nutrition program manager, and we'll be back with some more information from her. So I want you to stay tuned, and we will be right back.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
A decade of Montana fourth graders on Energy Share. Robbie Holman reminds us that even during the chilliest Montana winters, our homes don't have to be cold, not if we Energy Share the love. And Emma Bergman knows who to call when the cost of heating your home starts to put a chill on your family. Emma says, when winter is in the air, it's time to care with Energy Share. Energy Share is not a government program. It's neighbors helping neighbors who face energy emergencies the Montana way. Call or visit our website today. Thanks, Energy Share, for helping people in need.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
When the weather's good, I got to get away for some fishing, and that's a must.
Fred Dahlbeck. Clancy.
My grandson tells me we suck at golf. Fun, though. And there's never enough time to keep the old 57 Chevy happy.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Come on, girl.
We're back, and we've been talking to Tessa Bailey. She's the Nutrition Program Manager for the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. So, Tessa, tell us about the Congregate Nutrition Program.
Sure.
What is it?
So our Congregate nutrition programs are really the programs that are centered in the community. So a lot of times they're at senior centers, community centers. They can be at other places as well in a community, but those are typically the most areas where they are found. And so our Congregate programs serve people in a community setting. So you're having people come in and eat lunch. They can also be a breakfast. It can be a dinner. People, each of the centers can do it however they choose. So it's most of the time it's lunches, but a lot of places will do something. We have a senior center in Billings that once a month they do a breakfast. So instead of at noon, they do one at 9 o'clock in the morning and do breakfast. And so that's fun, and it just changes it up for people a little bit. But across the state, we have 114 providers, so congregate meal providers in our state. So really, there is a congregate setting near about everybody in almost all of our communities, even our little communities in the state. And so we have reached, in our federal fiscal year of 24, which fiscal years run from October 1st to September 30th, so that's how our data is calculated, but we've reached about every corner of the state. And so in our fiscal year 2024, we served just over 600,000 congregate meals to more than 7,000 older adults and individuals. So that is a huge amount for our state. Yes. We have a very high older adult populated state in Montana. We're the 6th highest in the nation for older adults, for people 60 and older. So we're really trying to meet that need. And it's not just about the food. They're a gateway, as we talked in the previous segment, to social connection. So they are, our senior centers, they're vibrant hubs of different activities. They do cards, they play pool, there's bingo. Bingo's one that's always a big highlight for everybody, but they also have book clubs, arts and crafts, numerous, they bring in speakers about different topics that relate to those. The older adults and the time that they are in their lives. And so it really brings together the communities, and it fosters a sense of belongingness. You're there, you're visiting with your friends, your community members, so you feel less lonely, less room for anxiety and depression.
You know, talking about that, I remember I visited the Rocky Mountain Development Center a time, and they invited me to go and dance with them.
Yes.
So I was fortunate to have gotten involved in the dancing and all of that, and it was quite taxing for me.
Yes, they are vibrant hubs. There is no slouching when you go to these senior centers and community centers and meal sites. Yes, our Rocky Mountain Development, our senior center here in Helena is a vibrant center. I've been to their meal site and they're just lovely. I love going and visiting the centers all around the state because I love talking with all of our older adults, seeing what issues that we can bring back to the state and to our Department of Public Health on their behalf. We have super vibrant one. We have senior centers that do everything from they do for meals around the world once a month where they're serving a different ethnic cuisine that the whole meal is based off that country. So we're really, and then we have, like I said, ones that are all, and do bingo and cards and pool, and they're all such vibrant hubs and offer little bits and pieces for their own communities.
Thank you. I know you have the nutrition home delivery program.
Sure. Yes, our home delivered program, which a lot of people around the state, around the country, refer to as Meals on Wheels. That's what that is. So Meals on Wheels is a separate actual organization, but it does provide some funding for the different areas, and so they are allowed to use the Meals on Wheels tagline, I should say. But they're essentially, that's what it is. You're getting home delivered meals. And again, in our federal fiscal year 2024, we provided over 950,000 meals, so almost 1 million meals to 8,000 individuals for the home delivered program around our state. Now, it does seem like it's different that we have more people on the Congregate side versus the home delivered, and then more meals on the home delivered side versus Congregate. But most of our home delivered participants receive a meal 5 days a week. And so they're receiving it consistently. They're on the program and they're getting a meal every day, or at least for the 5 business days of the week. Some centers also provide meals for the weekend as well for them. And then our Congregate meals, those people are coming in, they may not come in every day, some might, but a lot of them will come in once or twice a week to get a meal. So they're a little more flexible in how they come in. But most of our home delivereds are getting meals 5 days a week with that. And they provide such a, you know, the delivery drivers that a lot of times are volunteers in our communities provide huge resources for these home delivered participants. They might be the only social contact these people see each day. And they're also, they provide a kind of a welfare check to make sure that people are doing okay. Is someone coming to the door and answering it? If they don't, is there something wrong? So they're providing a check and a connection every day to these individuals.
That is so neat. Thank you. I know you have another hat you wear, and we will be talking about that hat you wear after this break. So I want my audience to stay tuned. We'll be right back with Tessa Bailey. She wears another hat, and she will be discussing that with us. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
This is Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone? Please respond. I'm all alone here.
We're back with Tessa Bailey, the Nutrition Program Manager for the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. And we've been talking about congregate meals, we've been talking about home delivered meals, and we will address the evidence-based program with Tessa. Tessa, would you tell us about your evidence-based health promotion programs?
Sure. Our evidence-based health promotion programs, what really those are is investing in the health promotion to prevent more expensive medical costs down the future for our older adults. So these increase the well-being, reduce disability and injury. These programs must be demonstrated to have effectiveness, so that's why they're called evidence-based.
Right.
So they are researched in respected journals, they're peer-reviewed journals that these programs are found to be of most beneficial to older adults. In Montana, falls are a major concern with our older adult population. Nearly 1 in 3 Montanans over the age of 65 experience a fall. They're the leading cause of injury in this population. And in fact, unintentional falls is the 3rd leading cause of injury-related deaths in Montana.
Wow.
And so a lot of our evidence-based programs, and we work with a different division and program through the Department of Public Health, but it's the Falls Prevention Program. And so we kind of have the funding for these programs. They do the programs themselves, but we have lots of falls prevention programs. We have the SAIL program, which is Stay Active and Independent for Life, the Stepping On program, and a newer one, which is Tai Chi for arthritis and falls prevention. So those can be provided through communities around the state. There's gonna be a little website that pops up for you if you want to look for more information about those programs that are near you. But we also, in our evidence-based programs, offer the program that's called T-Care, which is a program for caregivers. And it's an app and a website that is there to prevent caregiver burnout. That is a huge thing we're experiencing.
Okay, well, thank you, Tessa. Now, we told you about Tessa wears another hat, and that hat is the Governor's Conference on Aging. She's the coordinator for the Governor's Conference on Aging. And Tessa is here to tell us a little bit about that program and what's happening this year at that program. Tessa, you have the floor.
Yes, well, a highlight of my job is coordinating the Governor's Conference on Aging each year. So this year it's going to be in Helena, and it'll be from September 15th through the 17th. So we are going to have great speakers, everything to do with older adults for our AAAs in the state to our local providers. We're going to have a senior center panel, so different senior centers around the state that are going to provide their best practices so that other centers or other communities can take hold and, no one's reinventing the wheel. We also have a mini grant program offered through the Governor's Advisory Council on Aging. So that offers grants up to $1,000 for a rural community. So any community under a population of 10,000 can apply for these grants. Does not have to be a senior center itself, but it has to benefit older adults in your community. Somehow the money does. The biggest part of our conference is our centenarian luncheon, which is my favorite part of the job, my whole job. So we look for anybody that has family members or themselves that are turning 100 years old or older this calendar year. So by December 31st, we look for you to apply, send in, and on behalf of your family members, write up a little story. We have questions about their life. We'd love to hear it. We put together a centenarian booklet each year that is presented at the centenarian conference or at the luncheon during the conference. And we also have a luncheon for the centenarians, the ones that are able to travel, to come to the conference, and we honor them. And they also receive a certificate from the governor. It is the best, it is the most heartfelt. We love hearing their stories. They've all lived amazing lives.
Yeah. So approximately how many of those do we have in our community, our state?
Oh gosh, we don't really know the answer to that because the state doesn't keep like a running statistic of that, but we have anywhere from usually that write in each year from 30 to 60. So it really depends on the year. And again, it's anybody 100 years in 2025 or older. So we already had a submission from somebody that's 105 out of Glendive, Montana. So, you know, we have all age ranges from 100 and older, and it's so fun to hear their stories.
And that will be held here in Helena.
Here in Helena, September 15th through the 17th, we welcome the general population, our providers around the state, our senior centers, anybody that wants to have more information about aging and how to help out in their communities.
And where would they go? Do you have a website or phone number they call and say, hey, my grandpa is turning 102. I want him involved in the program?
Sure. I believe they'll put up our conference website, but it's just conferenceonaging.mt.gov. And that will take you to our conference. It'll have registration information on the centenarians, our mini grants. It has information on past conferences as well. If you want to look up a centenarian from the past couple years, we have the booklets from those on our website. My number is also listed on the website. If anybody has questions, have anybody feel free to call. I'd love to answer them.
Wow, it has to be an exciting program. I mean, sitting in a room with that wealth of life.
Yes.
It's got to be exciting. So what's next? After you've met with these older Americans, older Montanans, do you track? Do you keep track? Or what is it after the event in September? What happens?
I do kind of keep track of some of them. A lot of them will continue to reach out. We have a lady out of Chinook that has attended the past two conferences. She just turned 103 this last year. So, you know, I do, the Senior Center writes in on her behalf usually every year, and I do follow to make sure how she's doing. We have a centenarian here in Helena that I follow, like just making sure how they're doing, keeping up on that, because I do love to reach out, and the families usually will reach out and tell us how they are doing as well.
That is so neat, and I'm sure I'll be at that program and participating in one way or the other.
You will be, for sure.
So this has been our program, Aging Horizon, and we've had Tessa Bailey as our guest today. This program is brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, and we thank you for listening and watching. Stay tuned for our next edition. Goodbye.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.